All right, here are some of our author interview questions. The first one is, what is your name and what's the name of your book?
My name's Cody Campbell, and my book is called Echoes of the Arcane.
And what is your book about?
My book is a collection of short stories. A lot of them are science fiction and fantasy. Some of them are general fiction, and there's a handful of poetry in there too.
Where'd the idea come from?
Well, because it's a collection, there's a lot of different ideas at play in here. Some of them are ones that were originally assignments from when I was in college and creative writing courses and stuff like that. Others are just ideas that I had right when I was about to fall asleep that I wrote down on my phone and then decided to make a story out of.
And who is your book for?
My book deals with a lot of ideas about loss and grief and loneliness and dealing with different kinds of trauma. So I suppose my book is for people who enjoy that sort of thing.
Is there anything that you want your readers to take away from your writing?
I would say that the thing that I want people to take away from my writing is that everybody goes through difficulties, and sometimes it can feel like there isn't a right thing to do, there isn't a correct answer, and sometimes your best is all you can do.
What made you want to become a writer?
I've been a big reader since I was a kid. I've always really enjoyed all kinds of fantasy and science fiction, mostly fantasy as a kid and more science fiction when I got older. I think what made me want to be a writer was I wrote this poem, which I would be embarrassed to show anyone now, but at the time I was really proud of it, and a lot of my friends really liked it, and I got some good feedback from teachers, and it just made me feel good about myself. And I guess I've spent most of my life just chasing that dragon, trying to recapture that feeling.
And tell us a little bit about your writing process.
As I mentioned, I get a lot of my ideas right as I'm about to fall asleep. I usually jot those down in a little note thing in my phone. Then when I'm ready to write a new story, I look through that, I pick one out that I really, really like, and then I kind of think about who's the best character for that sort of story. And as I choose that character, I try and flesh out their conflict and the thing that's driving them through the story, and I sort of build it outward from there.
And which authors are some of your biggest influences?
Neil Gaiman is a really big one for me. I like a lot of his writing. Margaret Atwood is one who I think about her writing style a lot, and specifically her speculative fiction and how she structures that sort of thing. Big Patrick Rothfuss fan as well.
What do you do for fun when you aren't writing?
Reading, watching television with my lovely wife. I like video games quite a bit, RPGs mostly, and I do woodworking when the weather's nice.
Any advice for aspiring writers?
Best advice for me would be to try and find a group, a workshop, something like that, and to practice giving and receiving criticism. I think that's the best thing you can do for yourself. That, and just don't be in too big of a rush. Enjoy learning the form, enjoy the process of learning all the bits and pieces, and practicing, lots and lots of practicing.
And lastly, where can readers find your book?
My first book is not out yet, but it will be published through Wraithwood Press. It should definitely be available on Amazon, and we're hoping that it'll be available in smaller bookstores throughout the Pacific Northwest.
Thank you so much for taking the time to answer our questions today.
Thank you very much.